Patriots of Era, and to all the Kerry fans. And a special shout out to Clodagh from Tralee, who gave me this gorgeous hat in the Gresham Hotel after the match on Sunday. Yesterday on Kerry Radio, Danny Healy-Rae, TD, said that he had nothing to say about David Moriarty, an employee of his company, who has now been convicted of electoral fraud for using someone else's polling card in the local elections in Kerry in 2024. But Danny, I have plenty to say, and I will not stay quiet. I have contacted the Tralee Court Services Office, and I've been informed that if I want a copy of the court proceedings from the July the 4th election fraud case in Kinmare District Court, I must make a formal application to Judge David Waters, who presided over the hearing. Meanwhile, the public has seen no photo of David Moriarty in the media. There was no photo of him in the Kerry's Eye or the Kerryman or Radio Kerry, just photos of Kinmare standstill shots of Kinmare District Court. No headlines, no outrage, no accountability. Who is this man, David Moriarty? I will dig a little bit deeper and find out a little bit more about this gentleman. And yet, when I was unlawfully jailed by the Irish state before Christmas, a mother of two with no criminal record, guilty of nothing, the Kerry's Eye newspaper splashed my photo in handcuffs across the front page like I was a criminal. Why the double standards? Why the silence now? Are they all in it together? I asked the question. Let me say this clearly. In light of a Garda whistleblower who has now come forward, this case of the state unlawfully jailing me for 4 days is not over. It will be reopened with new evidence showing how proper procedures were ignored by members of An Garda Síochána, which led to my unlawful imprisonment 1 week before Christmas. I will not rest until the truth comes out. Yesterday in Tralee Circuit Court, Solicitor Brian Long of Ballincollig Solicitors pursued a case against me himself, seeking €75,000 in fees, where the damages in questions were only awarded €25,000. I did maths in school, folks, in Knocknagoshel Primary School and in the Convent of Mercy, St. Joseph's in Abbeyfield. And 25 goes into 75 3 times. What is going on exactly here, folks? And now let me ask the one question that no one in power seems willing to face. Why was David Moriarty's election fraud case heard in Kinmare District Court when the Court Services of Ireland and the High Court Central Office both told me that only 3 judges in the entire country, all in the High Court, can hear cases related to elections, election frauds or petitions? Why has Judge Emily Egan still not issued a court order from my High Court election fraud case over a month later? Why are my grounding affidavits and my court papers not available on the High Court records for the public to see? These are the questions I need answering. I have written now and I have paid fees. I've asked for justice. Tralee Court Services have refused to give me a copy of the judgment, even after I sent in €15 to pay for it. Why? What are they all hiding, folks? And the questions don't stop here. Why were so many polling cards unstamped in the local elections in Kerry? Why did presiding officers fail in their basic duties at polling stations to stamp the polling cards? Why did a member of Kerry County Council lie to my face on polling day on the count centre in Tralee and tell me that there was no recount, when clearly there was? Where did all my votes go? Why did Bobby Connell get my votes? Who was responsible for the missing ballot boxes during the transfers? Who had them? Who collected them? Where did they go in the local elections and in the general elections? And in Turin-Cahill polling station, where I witnessed the presiding officer tearing ballots from a book on election night, and when I reported the same to Padraig Burke, he told me with great confidence and swagger I could petition him if I wanted. Well, Padraig Burke, it's time now. Step forward and tell the truth. You were the returning officer on both occasions. You saw what happened. Say it publicly. Come out and make a statement on this. The people of Kerry deserve answers. And let me make it one thing clear, folks. The corruption in the 2024 local and general elections in Kerry is simply disgusting. It is an insult to Kerry people. It is a stain on Irish democracy. I'm not going away until I get justice, not just for myself, but for every honest voter in this county who believes in free and fair elections. So today I'm imploring with anyone who has witnessed election irregularities, manipulation, missing ballot papers, false counts, or abuse of the democratic process in Kerry or in Ireland to come forward. Contact me directly at info@michellekeane.ie. Let's stand together, folks. Let's speak up as a nation and a county. We must demand a full investigation, a full independent inquiry into the Electoral Commission, into David Moriarty, into Danny, Johnny and Michael Healy-Rae, the presiding officer and the polling clerk in Turin-Cahill, and the Gardaí who failed to investigate this fraud election case regarding David Moriarty properly, and Padraig Burke, the returning officer. Because without clean elections, we have no democracy. And if we don't fight for the truth, we may never get it back. Folks, the euro just tanked. And the real question everyone should be asking this morning is, what the hell is really going on here? Because behind the headlines and the handshakes and the fake smiles is a deal that reeks of surrender, not strategy. Let's break it down, folks, for you. A so-called New Deal between the US and the EU just dropped, pitched a solution to a trade spat. But under the surface, it's packed with hidden dynamite. The terms, 15% tariff slapped on EU exports to US, 0 tariffs on US goods flooding into Europe. That's not a partnership, folks. It's power play. The US just rigged the game in its favour. More energy deals, more capital inflow, more leverage. This isn't cooperation. This is economic domination, folks. And for Germany, a body blow. Its powerhouse auto sector, the engine of EU exports, just hit a 15% tariff wall. The shockwaves hit hard and fast. The euro, the dollar dropped 1.3% in a single session, the sharpest fall since May. Investors are fleeing. Confidence is crumbling. Heavy exports, EU stocks are sinking. And here's the kicker, folks. The UK, supposedly isolated after Brexit, secured a better deal, a 10% tariff. Less pain, more autonomy. So what the hell has happened to Brussels? Irish MEP Michael McNamara is asking the same thing. He hit out at the EU's decision to swallow the 15% tariff, while the UK negotiated a better form of a weaker hand. If the EU is, at its core, a trading bloc, he asked, or how can it reclaim leadership, moral or economic, after this? He was responding to former Irish Ambassador Bobby McDonough, who claimed Ireland should double blown on the EU loyalty. But McNamara pulled no punches. Loyalty to what? A bloc that bows to pressure and leaves its industries exposed? This deal didn't just shift the game. It exposed the imbalance at the heart of the EU. It's not just a trade deal, it's a warning shot. The euro is wobbling, confidence is bleeding, and Europe, it just blinked. Will it take a Garda to die on duty before the government finally listens? Last night, a young probationer Garda was brutally and viciously stabbed in an unprovoked attack at 6 p.m. on Capel Street in the heart of our capital city in Dublin. He was doing his duty, wearing his uniform, protecting the public. And now he's in a hospital bed the latest victim of a system that has collapsed under the weight of political cowardice and inaction. Let it be very clear, folks, no Garda signs up in Templemore to be stabbed. They don't join the force to be attacked, abused or sacrificed by a failed, cobbled-together Irish government that refuses to take crime seriously. And who do we hold responsible, folks? Only Simon Harris, Leo Varadkar, Micheál Martin, Simon Coveney, Helen McEntee and our former Garda Commissioner Drew Harris. These are the people who let it come to this. Helen McEntee in particular presided over a justice system in free-for-all. She failed Gardaí, she failed victims, and she failed every Irish citizen who now feels unsafe on their own streets. Her legacy is one of collapse and chaos. And our new Minister for Justice, Jim O'Callaghan, now inherits a monumental mess. A Garda force demoralised, understaffed and under attack. It's a tough job, no doubt, but it's also a critical one, because if we don't act now, things will only get worse. And here's the question no one wants to ask, but everyone is thinking. Will it come to the pointee where Gardaí must be armed with guns, not just to protect themselves and us from being stabbed, beaten or even worse? This is Ireland 2025, not some war-torn state, not a film. Our capital city, our police are under siege. I condemn this vile attack in the strongest possible terms and send my full support and prayers to the young Garda and his family. We wish him a full recovery, but more than that, we demand change. Incoming Commissioner Justin Kelly has a Herculean task ahead of him. He must clean up the carnage now left by Drew Harris and this cobbled-together Irish government of globalist puppets who bowed to Brussels while letting Irish streets fall into lawlessness. Enough is enough. We must protect those who protect us, with resources, with legislation, and yes, with whatever level of equipment is necessary to keep them and us alive. Because if we lose our Gardaí, and if we lose law and order, we lose Ireland. Ireland will be on the brink of collapse very soon. If we don't get this cobbled-together Irish government out, and now through the election fraud conviction of David Moriarty, we are one step closer to destabilising and getting rid of this selected, not elected government. For anyone that has info on any election fraud irregularities, particularly in Kerry and throughout the country, email me at info@michellekeane.ie. Gora Mila Mahaga, folks.